The City of Murfreesboro hosted a public information open house about the possible merger of the Murfreesboro Electric Department with Middle Tennessee Electric Membership Corporation. Residents were invited to review information, ask questions, and provide feedback. Murfreesboro City Manager talks about when the city was first approached to sell the utility.
Around the 2016-2017, Middle Tennessee Electric approached Murfreesboro and to initiate discussions on a potential merger. That didn't go very far initially. And so when we reorganized the city and we started looking at the different efficiencies that we could gain, particularly in our utility services, and that reinitiated the discussion with Middle Tennessee Electric as to potential merger. And so we reached out to them and see if they would still want to engage in that discussion, and they said yes, that they would.
The City Council previously held a special public meeting to listen to Tyndall's presentation of how this process will work and ask questions to the two utilities' general managers.
What is the process that you establish what the rate's going to be? You're submitting it, approved by your board, submitted to TVA. TVA has to authorize any rates that are charged.
Yes, sir.
And the reason you don't make as much money as you can is because
we're not for profit. It's the same thing. And again, it's existing solely to benefit our members.
Will Murfreesboro citizens, will they have a membership fee when they join Middle Tennessee Electric? How will that work?
No, they will not.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
When we're looking at benefits, right now, our employees with the electric department, they get 5 weeks of vacation.
If you look at our benefit packages from a distance, they look extremely similar. But the way we specifically package them, is a little bit different.
I guess I'm trying to make sure that, all of a sudden the people in the Murfreesboro sub-district aren't paying a rate that's 40% higher, because we hear people, well, all that's going to happen is they're going to gang these rates up to get the money back, That can't happen.
No, sir.
In the specific geographic.
That's something we wouldn't do, but it's something TVA wouldn't
yes,
let us do either. So as we come together, rates will be the very same the first year. We'll have a 5-year period to bring those together.
City Council members talk about the importance of this decision and how it's been working with Middle Tennessee Electric CEO Chris Jones.
Probably one of the most important decisions that we'll make as far as long-term impact on our citizens and upon our community. But also what do we do with the revenue? If you do exercise this proposal, then how is it going to have a long-term impact?
Chris Jones has been really fantastic to talk to. I did not know him very well prior to this process, but I've spent some time with him and talked a lot to him. And I will tell you, my concerns about selling the utility have nothing to do with Chris Jones and his leadership, have nothing to do with Middle Tennessee Electric.
Chris Jones is one of the most honorable, upstanding individuals I've ever met. And truthfully, when I deal with him, I can listen to every word that he tells me, knowing in good confidence that he's telling me the truth.
The only reason that I feel comfortable of what we're talking about is because you're standing here. You have been honorable, ethical, straightforward. There's not been one time that I feel like that you're talking or you're giving something that has ulterior motives behind it.
That's very kind of you to say, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
The City Council has been gathering information from staff and both utilities in anticipation of one of the biggest decisions they will make.
The one win to this for people who have the philosophy that government should be small and close to the people, this is a reduction in the size of the city government of Murfreesboro. And I think that's a positive thing too.
Once you start crunching the numbers and looking at it and thinking about what we need as a city and what we'd have to do to finance our needs as a city, it did start to make quite a bit of sense.
The staff has worked very hard. I always want to recognize the effort that they put in to do that. But I think at the end of the day, the council members have to set the vision of what we want Murfreesboro to look like long term. I just can't see where it's in our best interest to not own our own utility.
You take the information you have, you certainly listen to our public and the citizens of our community, their input and their perspective on these decisions. And then ultimately you have to do what your conscience and your perception is of the best interest in the long-term interest of our citizens.
We asked Tyndall if the merger takes place, where the money would be spent.
We can take that economic value and put in other assets that we need as a city, roads, schools, parks, the other things that we need to do as a city, particularly a growing city that needs come up all the time. as long as you're not losing what you have and the service that you have, and we're confident that wouldn't be the case, and as a matter of fact, it will improve, and over time rates would even get better. Recognizing that value and putting in new assets is something that really does hit that balance between ratepayers and taxpayers that we had as paramount thought in our mind.
If the merger is approved by the Murfreesboro City Council, it would then go to Middle Tennessee Electric's board for approval and then to TVA for its approval.